Light rail safety is a growing concern for commuters across the Twin Cities. What's the perspective on campus?
Could you dance for 8 hours straight? Minnesotans dance the night away to raise money for children in need.
We've had a sunny week. Find out if we'll continue to warm up this weekend.
It's been 2 months since Minneapolis started charging extra for paper and plastic bags. Is the new law making a difference?
University Report starts now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to University Report. I'm Grace O'Neill.
And I'm Mackenzie Davis. Metro Transit's light rail trains carry more than 7,000 passengers each day. Many of them take the Green Line through the U of M campus. Passenger safety on those trains is getting renewed attention lately. Samantha Boring caught up with some students to see how they feel about it.
It's easy to hop on a light rail, with or even without a ticket. Many students at the University of Minnesota take the train to get around.
If it's like really busy, it's usually like work people and I feel pretty safe. But if it's like later in the day or even early in the morning, I sometimes feel unsafe.
A common concern I heard from students was the time of day when they ride.
Stadium Village Station.
When it's day, I feel fine, but at night it can get a little interesting.
The Green Line that runs through campus had a 34% increase in violent crimes in 2019.
There's a reason that the police chiefs in both Minneapolis and St. Paul have asked for additional resources and additional officers.
One of the things I commonly see is people fighting, which is not ideal. It scares me a lot.
The system uses surveillance cameras and rare ticket checks by officers. But how do students ensure their safety?
I just really try to stay off my phone. I'll have my earbuds in, but I will be looking at my surroundings instead of my phone. I also try and sit near the driver because that just feels safer. And I have the number of the police transit line on my phone.
Some think increasing officer rounds and ticket checks could help with concerns on the train.
I feel like if they regulated it more, I know like people are technically supposed to buy tickets, but I know a ton of people that don't, especially like homeless people. I feel like they just hop on for warmth, which is understandable, but it also like is a safety concern.
While the rising crime is not going to be solved overnight, students can use the hotline number on the train and take extra precautions to feel safe. Samantha Boring, University Report.
A series of bills called Safety in Our Cities, introduced by House Republicans, proposes to help increase surveillance on the train and at the stops. This has not been voted on. For more information, head to our website z.umn.edu/universityreport.
The Democratic field is a lot smaller this morning than it was just 1 week ago. It's now down to just Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Those changes occurred leading up to and just after Super Tuesday when Biden won big. Jacob Gustin takes us back to that critical day in this campaign season for a look at Minnesota's part in the process.
Super Tuesday came to Minnesota after an unprecedented weekend. Former Vice President Joe Biden cruised to a victory in South Carolina. Then, Minnesota's own Amy Klobuchar dropped out of the race just a year after entering it.
Announce my candidacy for President of the United States.
Her supporters were still excited to vote, but were understandably disappointed she dropped out.
As an avid supporter of Amy, I would have preferred her not to, but I also understand the limitations.
Klobuchar was leading in Minnesota primary polls, and once she dropped out, she threw her support behind Joe Biden.
And our country. And to do it, not just with our words, but with our actions.
Biden had been behind in Minnesota polls, but the Klobuchar endorsement helped him win Minnesota, beating Bernie Sanders, who had won the state in 2016.
Minnesota. By winning the state of Minnesota.
Some Minnesotans decided to hold Super Tuesday watch parties, including this one at a place called The Hook and Ladder.
We're a nonprofit community theater. We host performances pretty much Wednesday through Sunday. Predominantly a lot of local Minnesota artists and a lot of local Minnesota music.
Democrats came to watch election coverage on a massive flat screen. They ate free pizza, got drinks, and sat back to watch the biggest night so far in a primary season that isn't over yet. Jacob Gustin, University Report.
Here's where the race for the Democratic nomination stands as of now. Joe Biden leads with 627 delegates. Bernie Sanders is in second place with 551 delegates. It takes 1,991 delegates to secure the party's nomination. Next Tuesday, 6 more states hold presidential primaries.
It's been a couple of months since stores in Minneapolis started charging for paper and plastic bags. How's it working so far? Jane Lee talked to some shoppers and cashiers to see how they feel about it.
Last November, the Minneapolis City Council passed a new ordinance requiring grocery stores to charge 5 cents per bag. The Bring Your Own Bag policy started at the beginning of this year to encourage people to use reusable bags and cut down on litter.
We definitely see a lot more people bringing their own bags. Do you like paper or plastic? Got your own bags today? Awesome.
Stores with cashiers are seeing more customers bring their own bags than stores with self-checkout, where shoppers still grab a bag.
We did have quite a few people that brought their own bags before the ordinance was in place, but we do see a lot of people where before they might have just forgotten it in their car, just left it in there. Now a lot of them are running back to their car to get it.
They do see the ordinance making people think and pay more attention to avoiding waste.
Now I use my own grocery bags. Initially I kept forgetting because it wasn't my routine, but as I became more used to it, I've had much better rate of remembering them.
The city of Minneapolis says Minnesotans throw away 87,000 tons of plastic bags a year, but recycle less than 5% of them.
When you work in a grocery store like this and you see the amount of bags that people use every single day, especially for unnecessary items, I do feel like it's going to make a difference in the long run because we're seeing way more people bring their own bags and just not using them unnecessarily, and I think that's what's probably going to make a big difference in the end.
Some people think it will take time, but believe bringing a recyclable bag will eventually become the norm. Jane Lee, UReport.
Minneapolis is the only city in the state so far with an ordinance of this kind. The 5-cent fee goes to the retailer to cover the cost of manufacturing the bags and disposing of them.
After a year of renovations, a Dinkytown library reopened. Stick around to find out how the library has been updated for the better.
So some say it's easier to get around the campus with campus connectors, but is it always true? We'll find out.
We've had a sunny week, but will we keep warming up this weekend? We'll check in after the break.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
On January 25th, the Arvon Fraser Library in Dinkytown reopened its doors after being closed for over a year for renovations. Paige Friedman got to check it out and see how it's doing since it opened up again.
The library was built in the 1960s and opened for a second time in 2020.
That was a really beautiful day. Many people were happy to have the library open after having it closed for over a year.
From the outside, the library looks unchanged, preserving one of the few remaining buildings designed by architect Ralph Rapson.
People are really curious about the building, the architectural part of it, and they fought to keep this library open. So there's a lot of people that are just really proud and happy that the library is reopened and that they redid it in such a beautiful way.
The real change was opening up the second floor. Before the renovations, it was closed off and it was a dark space. Now, it's a more inviting space, and the downstairs level offers a kids' play area, meeting rooms, and more places to study.
Students have definitely discovered us and have been really excited about the different study areas we have. We have a couple study rooms as well, where you can hook your laptop up and work on projects together, and there's a monitor on the wall, and you can reserve the meeting rooms. So there's definitely been students.
Many students have already come in to use the library. Soon, the library will offer more programming and activities to bring even more members of the community in. Paige Freeman, University Report.
Arvon Fraser is part of the Hennepin County Library System. U of M students who live in Minneapolis can apply for a library card there. Find out how at our website, z.umn.edu/universityreport.
So the U of M Twin Cities is a big campus, and getting around can take time. A bus called the Campus Connector is a popular solution, but there's one spot where it often ends up getting stuck in traffic. Andrew Hong takes us to the place where pedestrians block the bus.
The Campus Connector's Bus 121 is the most popular means of transportation at the university. The line goes through the East Bank, West Bank, and St. Paul campuses. But to get to the West Bank from the East Bank, the connector has to get past one particularly crowded crosswalk. Pleasant Street between Brunick's and Nicholson Halls is packed with cars around 11 a.m. This is where Scholars Walk crosses the street. With so many students crossing and without any traffic light, cars and buses must yield to pedestrians. Around 11 a.m., I caught the bus in front of John's and Nicholson Halls. I timed my trip to the West Bank. It took around 11 minutes, only a minute less than it would take me to walk there. And the driver told me sometimes it takes even longer. The constant flow of students at the crosswalk creates long delays. Does the university know about this? Is there a change coming up? The answer was rather surprising.
Previous studies have not indicated a problem in that area. We tracked campus buses and Metro Transit buses throughout an average day and found that only 3 buses were delayed 90 seconds, and over half of the buses weren't delayed at all. Some have suggested putting a traffic signal in there, but the reality is that the current delays are shorter now than if you put a traffic signal in there.
Based on observation, there indeed was no traffic when there is no class break, without many students coming in and out of the building using the crosswalk. However, that is also when fewer students use the campus connector. Also, some bus drivers had different opinions.
Yes, sometimes it would be faster to walk. Absolutely. Come across the bridge. What we need to do is to meter the students that are crossing at the crosswalk.
11 a.m. appears to be the worst time for traffic here, when you might get there just as fast on foot. That's not a great option for cold weather. Fortunately, the wait for spring won't be too long. Andrew Hong, University Report.
If you want to register a complaint about traffic or safety and notify Parking Transportation Services at UMPD building or email parking@umn.edu. It's been a beautiful week for the first week of March, so let's hope we can keep this going for the rest of the month. Jacob Gustin joins us with the forecast. Jacob, what can we expect?
This correlates with a growing trend within the United States, shown by the area in green. Spring has been coming earlier in people all around the country, specifically near the coasts. Earlier springs aren't necessarily a good thing, as they can impact the amount of resources available to different species and ecosystems. Minnesota hasn't noticed this as much, with spring coming a day later than usual. However, this weekend might change that. Which brings us to our forecast. The current temperature is 25 degrees, but we do expect to get as high as 42 today. On Saturday, we will have a beautiful sunny day with 56 degrees as a high, and we will only get as low as 44 degrees. On Sunday, we will hit that 60 mark with a high of 64 and a low of 34. We will dip a little colder heading into Monday. We will have a cloudy day that is 39 degrees as its high with 25 as its low. On Tuesday, we'll have a partly cloudy day with a high of 42 and a low of 31. And we might get some rain showers later in the night. Before it does get colder, make sure you go out and enjoy the sunny weekend. As I said, we will hit that 60 mark this weekend.
Thank you, Jacob. I cannot wait to get out and enjoy the sun this weekend.
It may have warmed up, but the lakes are still freezing. I watched Minnesotans bear it all last weekend at the Polar Plunge.
And the U is looking for their next Goldie the Gopher. We'll go behind the scenes to see what it takes to be a mascot.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
Over 1,000 plungers from various Minneapolis schools dressed up in fun costumes to jump into Lake Bede-Makaska on Friday, while spectators bundled up. This year they raised $22,000 over their goal, totaling $142,801. Special Olympics Minnesota is part of a global movement of people creating a new world of inclusion and community. SOMN aims to create a world that accepts and welcomes every single person, regardless of ability or disability. Minneapolis Cool Schools raised $22,000 over their goal of $120,000.
The University of Minnesota is looking for their next Goldie the Gopher. Jessica Backlund shows us exactly what it takes to be the face of the University of Minnesota.
Who is behind the famous Goldie the Gopher? Who Goldie really is kept top secret, with only the Goldie team members knowing exactly who is wearing the gopher head. Many people wonder who's behind him, but what about the students who take it a few steps further?
And I see Goldie leading like all the students in the chants and all the songs and stuff, and just how energetic and fun he was, and how like riled up he got the students, and like how like he was like the center of attention. He was the University of Minnesota. I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to be him. And then 2 weeks later, I see a post on MyU like, hey, you want to try out for Goldie the Gopher? And I'm like, well, this is like someone is answering my like call or like my wish or something. So I gave it a try, and here I am 4 years later.
It's a big time commitment. So what makes being on Goldie's team worth it?
Like everyone brings their own thing to the table. You can be who you are, and you can help Goldie be that.
The University of Minnesota is looking for their next Goldie the Gopher. Tryouts will be held next month, April 24th through the 26th.
What exactly does it take to hold the title of Goldie the Gopher?
So, I mean, what we really look for is just people that are comfortable getting out of their comfort zone. Goldie is bigger than any person. Like, there's so many experiences, there's so many lives that you can touch by being Goldie. Really being able to just be out there, kind of be themselves, be a little goofy. Those are the people that we really look for. Goldie is bigger than all of us. Goldie is Goldie. He's the face of the university.
Remember, Goldie's true identity is kept top secret. Do you think you have what it takes to hold the Goldie the Gopher title? Jessica Backlund, University Report.
Tryouts to join the Goldie Gopher team will take place next month, April 24th through the 26th. You can find out more information about the tryout process on our website, z.umn.edu/universityreport. And speaking of Goldie, there's a lot going on in the world of Gopher sports. Jess joins us now with an update on how the Gophers are doing. Jess, what's coming up?
Grace, you are absolutely right. There is so much going on with the Gophers right now, but before we get into that,
congratulations are in order for Gopher women's basketball alumni Rachel Branham. Branham played for the Gophers from 2011 to 2016, and while she was here, she was named the 2016 Big Ten Player of the Year with 354 three-pointers, a program record. After college, Branham joined the WNBA in Connecticut before coming back home to the Minnesota Lynx.
she got it. The Gopher men's hockey team will be playing Notre Dame at Mariucci Arena tonight at 7 p.m. in the Big Ten quarterfinals. The tournament will continue through the weekend. If the Gophers win, they will continue on to the semifinals next weekend. Links to purchase student tickets can be found on our website, z.umn./universityreport. The Gopher wrestling team will be heading to New Jersey this weekend to compete in the Big Ten Wrestling Championship. The Gophers have 6 wrestlers seated in the top 6 of their weight classes. The tournament will begin Saturday and go into Sunday. It will air on the Big Ten Network. With an 11-2 record last year, PJ Fleck announced plans this weekend to be even bigger and better this year. The Gophers football team started spring practice this week. I think we're all excited to see what they bring to the field this fall. As you can see, there's a lot going on in the world of Gopher sports right now. Make sure you stay up to date so we can see just how well the Gophers do this weekend.
Thanks, Jess. We'll have to keep watching. So stay tuned to hear how U of M student group danced the night away in order to raise money for children's healthcare.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
The university is filled with student groups raising money for great causes. I went to 2020 Sodathon to see how Minnesota Dance Marathon impacted deserving families from around the Twin Cities.
Last Saturday, students from around the U participated in Sodathon, an 8-hour dance marathon raising money for Gillette Children's Specialty Healthcare. When you're dancing for 8 hours, sometimes you need a little boost.
It's time for the morale band. Let's go.
Yeah, so I was part of the morale dance crew, which I helped choreograph that little dance that we do every hour. It's funny seeing everyone do it the last time versus the first time because a lot of people don't know it the first time, but then as you go, it's everyone gets better and better.
But it isn't just students hitting the dance floor.
It's just all about supporting kids, whether they have cancer, genetic abnormalities, cerebral palsy, really anything. And it's about helping these kids to get their childhood back.
Hi, my name is Amelia, and my brother is Elliot, and he's 10 years old. He's been going to Gillette.
He's been going to Gillette since since I was pregnant, so over 10 years now. He is the only child person in the world with his chromosomes set up.
And for families like Elliot's, Dance Marathon is a chance to have fun, connect with the community, and of course, learn some great dance moves. Grace O'Neill, University Report.
Sodathon raised over $21,000 for Gillette Specialty Healthcare, breaking their annual fundraising record.
Thanks for watching University Report. I'm Mackenzie Davis.
And I'm Grace O'Neill. We'll see you all next week.